Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live session of GETI Talks. My name is Shilpi. I'm the Relationship Manager with the Global Education and Training Institute. Well, I have a very special guest today, and I am really privileged and honored to be with Captain Yashika Hatwal. So, I'll just say a few words, and you will understand the kind of person she is and what she has done, to be here and be famous. Defined by no man, you are your own story, blazing through the world, turning his story into her story. And when they dare to tell you about all things you cannot be, you smile and tell them, I'm both war and woman, you cannot stop me. So I think I have been able to define Captain Yashika Hatwal. She has been a Kargil war veteran and the first lady officer to be posted to high altitude and extreme cold climatic areas, that is in Leh Ladakh. And she has also opted for, or she had volunteered for the Operation Rhino, which was in Northeast. So, ma'am, I would like you to, give a little introduction before we go on to discussing the topic, which is, I think, one of the most, interesting topic in today's world: student digital identity, West physical identity, and social media. Its importance in education, because I think even if we were discussing offline, God has given each one of us an identity which is unique to us, and that has been proved because every individual has a thumbprint which cannot be matched to even the twin of that person. So this means we have our own identity, and God and whatever providence wants us to create that identity. But these days, if we see not just teenagers but also some youngsters, some adults, they get under peer pressure, and whatever they see on the social media, they want to replicate it or they want to imitate it. So, ma'am, this is what we are going to discuss today. But before that, thank you for joining in the disruptive education movement started by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And please introduce yourself to the audience, and then we'll start.
Jai Hind, Shilpi, and Jai Hind to all the listeners out there. I'm very thankful to Shilpi for introducing me using such uh, lavish words. Very gracious of her. Thank you very much. Well, my name is prefixed with Captain. This will always stay with me. The attitude of being a Fauji and my personality that continues to go ahead with being of a Fauji, of a thought process, of the way it has shaped me. I am a Fauji through and through. I'm a third generation Fauji. I am married to an army officer, daughter of an army officer, granddaughter of an army officer. We are three sisters, and all three sisters are in defense. My elder sister worked with Navy and got married to a naval officer. I am an army officer, got married to an army officer. And yes, you guessed it right. My younger sister is a serving Air Force officer and she's married to an Air Force officer. So, what more of a forge can we have in our DNA? But ever since I hung my uniform, I have been working with plethora of platforms, somewhere in the education sector, in corporate sector, public, private, both. The most cherished experience is working with specially abled children in a school called Asha, where I was the principal. I think these different kind of experiences have shaped me. And so now at this stage of life, what more do I want? I just want to share my life lessons, my experiences with everyone out there. And it is my mission that the youth learns the nuggets, gets to know the wisdom of doing many things, what to do, what not to do. And today on this platform, you have given me such a wonderful topic to speak on and discuss about our online and offline image. What is social media doing to us? And so I'm really looking forward to taking this conversation ahead. Coming to the talk, as you just had a curtain raiser telling us about our online and offline image, I would like to start with, first of all, giving a huge big applause to the social media. Contrary to the popular debate that we have, whether it is doing better for our generation, whether it's doing more harm to our generation, I think we cannot take it away from social media that today, this talk that we are having, this conversation that we are having on this topic is being aired and being made available to the viewers is only through social media. COVID times have shown us how much social media is changing the face of the world. It has changed the face of education. And as the motto of Getty Talks is disrupting education, yes, this has actually disrupted the education in a better way, in a new way, disrupted the existing traditional ways, and how with the social media, especially after this COVID times, the education sector especially will never be same again, will never ever be same again. But prior to COVID times also, we have seen that social media has given a very revolutionary concept to education. It has made students exchange the ideas, even outside classrooms. It has brought internships at their doorsteps. It has brought jobs and careers at their doorsteps. It has made class uh, take a different form into a Facebook classroom. Students have taken their creative levels to another level, and the creativity of those students who were a little shy in speaking have found blogging a new way. You know how it is? They have started creativity, expressing creativity through blogging or through, I have seen in many cases, through poetries. Students have started following their favorite influencers on their various subject related matters on Twitters, getting the real time answers, asking the questions, looking at various kinds of projects that are coming up in the Facebooks. So the mind, the radar has increased so much. The exposure has increased so much that even a child who's sitting in the small villages also is now open to social media and education. And before discussing anything, how it has negatively impacted, we have to give a huge big shabash to how social media has actually positively impacted the thoughts, the thought processes, the exposure of the students, and how social media has given the world a concept of being a global village. Now we are not sitting in either Lucknow or Ranchi. We are actually interacting with people who are in Australia and America and London and Germany. Who knows that this talk is being viewed by people belonging to different citizenships? So, yes, through this talk, let us go ahead and discuss how social media has impacted us. So, over to you, Shilpi.
Thank you so much for being there. The network again,
I know
it
network had, never mind, never mind.
is
Just go ahead.
mentally prepared for it because it does it with me all the time. All right, ma'am. So, I think picking up the thread from there, So, as you were saying that these were the positive impacts, or these are the positive impacts of social media, that we are being able to interact, and we know so many people around the world which we did not even know that they exist, and suddenly we have discovered new people in our lives. So, coming to that question, like offline west online personalities. So are we moving towards a stage of identity crisis, like in the beginning when I was talking about that we have, our own biological identity, plus we have our qualities acquired and innate which make us social being, and then again there is another personality that we portray on the social media.
True, true.
Right. So these days, like we see sometimes people put up status, if when they go through a heartbreak, and suddenly, the emotions come out, and that is the best place they find to vent it out. So, I mean, isn't it leading to a crisis? Because we show ourselves so vulnerable to the outside world. Initially, we used to share these woes and everything with our very close knit people. But now those people have become distant to us, and we are more on social media talking to strangers. So, would you like to explain that?
Very rightly put. Very rightly put. Actually, this is the impact of social media, that it has made our lives like an open book.
Yeah.
Why? Because what to talk of students, even elders are now spending lots and lots of their daily hours, their alert waking hours in front of either mobile or laptop. So the kind of data that we are generating, this data actually puts our online and offline images together. So the line between the offline conduct is merging with our online conducts. What we are doing in our real lives is now being directly transmitted in real time into our social media feeds.
Yes.
Immediately, we are putting it up as Insta feeds or Insta chats,
Yeah.
or we feel when we want privacy, we think we should go to Snapchat because it gives us a kind of a bubble that we are keeping some kind of a timely constraint when we are using Snapchat.
Yes.
But what we are actually forgetting is that the data once generated, the things that we put on, online feeds, it stays there. So the identity crisis, the word that you have used, is a very apt word. The online identity and offline identity is giving us a confusion also in a way. If I can give an example, when we talk to our boss physically offline, we talk in a different way. When we talk to our parents, we talk in a different way. Is it not?
Yes.
When we talk
Yeah.
to our friends, we talk differently. When we talk to our juniors, we talk differently. Now take that to an online platform. When we are talking on official emails, our conduct is different, is it not? The way
Yes.
we are putting our thoughts, we put a little filter because it's an official mail. The filter goes off when we are putting out an Insta chat.
Yes.
Now, when we are conversing or putting our resume forward to our LinkedIn profile, trying to put across our best official front,
Yes.
we are conversing in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what we are doing is that our online and offline identities are also showing the kind of mutually inclusive uh, system. The way we talk differently to people of different age groups, similarly, it is also coming through in our online behavior. So far, so good, because this is what we call etiquettes. When we are in social media, there are certain etiquettes that we have to follow. Where the etiquettes get narrowed, where the etiquettes get blurred, is when we are conversing where we think it is private. You know, when we think that we are in a closed group, when we think that not many people are looking at us, we behave differently. Our online personas came through in different kinds of photographs that we are putting in, our holiday feeds, our day to day routine that we are putting in. And now with the COVID era, why I'm bringing COVID example every time is that this is a very limited time zone in our lives when everyone went online.
Yeah.
Since we were not able to meet people physically, the online, the online connect kept us going. Probably it was very good at that time when it was the only way of contact, probably only way of keeping us,
Yes.
uh, uh, you know, uh, uh, emotionally connected to the outside world.
Yeah.
Now, add it to two more features. One, where ownership of a smartphone is a very low cost barrier now.
Yeah.
That is one. And secondly, very, very economically affordable data plans
Yes. Yes.
added to lots and lots of time in your hand and inclination to share more and more has given us this whole recipe of an identity crisis. When we are going online, it also gives us a lot of responsibility. See, with every facility comes a lot of responsibility. And when we are dealing with a kind of tool in our hand, which is very powerful, our responsibility grows those many notches high. You know, human being has always evolved with tools. You
Hmm.
come from an educational background, Shilpi, and you will appreciate the fact that when caveman came out of that zone and started, the humanity started to progress was when we started using the tools. So
Yes.
tools were the basis of our civilization. And once we started using the tool, we grew, never to come back to that cave age, you know.
Yeah.
So this tool of internet handling that we have is taking us so many notches higher that we will never come back to the era of pre-internet age.
Not at all.
The
Not at
children
all.
who are millennial children that we call them,
Yeah.
the Gen Z that we now also call more recent ones, it cannot imagine that there is a life or there was a life before this
Yeah.
era also. We have come from the time when there was no television also. And then
Yes.
came black and white television. And then came color television. And then slowly, gradually, things started to move. And now we are in an age of a wireless technology. More nano the chip, better it is. So you see the kind of exposure that these children have. I just hope and pray that we can impart them some kind of guidance, some kind of responsible behavior, because that is our duty as elders.
Yeah.
And online offline identity crisis will stay as long as people like you and people like me and all the parents and all the teachers and everyone out there does not do our own bit of sharing little wisdom. I think we are giving ourselves a lot of credit. Children are very intelligent. They know the do's and don'ts. But still, we are elders. And as Indian elders, it is something we cannot stop ourselves from doing than sharing. the do's and don'ts, and making them create themselves into wonderful, wonderful international students or international citizens, global citizens.
Global citizens. Yes, that's right.
Yes,
So, coming to another thing, which, like, while you were talking about it, is it is hampering our communication also, isn't that so? Especially, I would
yes,
like you to address the students about it. The kind of language that they are using now. You know, I don't know what they call it, a texting language, shortcuts, short forms. And, they are actually forgetting the very, you can say, etiquettes of communication. Like you were
yes,
talking before, the emails and everything, they know how to write it because obviously that's there in their subject. So they know it, how to do it. But then, that communication, when I see children in our schools and in our, like I'm with students, they forget they forget if she's a teacher because, as you said, we are on Instagram, and the Instagram is a different story altogether. So,
yes.
I think this social media is actually taking away that kind of communication skill from people, because you cannot change yourself suddenly the way you have been on Insta and suddenly you meet that person in front.
Yes.
It's very difficult to then cross over. So, how important it is that we still maintain our communication, because the faster the communication techniques are growing, that much we are losing upon our etiquettes and the real communication skill. So, what are the real communication skills that they are lagging, that they are actually missing out on, that you would like to highlight?
Shilpi, when we talk of social media, we see that everything is being driven by a lot of numbers, you know,
Yeah.
number of likes, number of
Yes.
views, number of followers. So, youth that is using this social media, it is an age of instant gratification. They,
Yes.
the speed of internet is very fast, and so is the speed of sharing information, and so is the speed of getting the
Response.
responses.
Yes.
So they are living in an age of instant gratification. The
Hmm.
fear of missing out, that is what they called FOMO, fear
Yeah.
of missing out is a very big fear in the minds of the internet users. But what we forget here is that this stage of instant gratification is not life. The life is led, the life is driven by long term goals, which
Yeah.
is not dependent on instant gratification. Long term goals need time, long term goals need patience. And so the generation that is now used to getting things at the speed of optic fiber finds it very difficult to have that crossover, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So for them to understand that where the life is going to take them, that is the responsible behavior. That is where a thought process has to come in. And that is what is actually the challenge that this generation is facing, that from this stage where they are putting everything on internet,
Hmm.
and they are putting minimum 4 to 5 hours per day on the screen time,
Yes.
is taking them away from their long term goals.
Exactly.
And then comes a very big factor, that is procrastination. When you have to work, then you open your screen, one thing leads to another, one video takes you to another,
Yeah.
one season leads you to another episode and another, and
Yeah.
one chat leads to many, many, many chats, one
Yes.
text leads to many texts, one tweet leads to many retweets, And lo and behold, by the time you realize, you have lost time. And then what you have is a tug of war between your instant gratification vis-a-vis your long-term goals.
Exactly.
You are running against race. You are having a race against time. So the quality of the work that you are doing, that comes down. Quality of the research that you are doing, that comes down. And it is very important to understand that the life that you are seeing in front of the screen is not the life that is going to be with you in future. The point you said about skill development or uh, uh, vocabulary and the language and different kinds of tools that you have to learn to make yourself into, you know, a career oriented, a successful human being. A,
Hmm. Yeah.
not successful, but a good person also. Being successful is one aspect of life that we have to learn. Being good person is quite a different thing. So there are lots of things that we have to learn from our real life, which we will not be able to learn only if we are sitting in front of the screen. There is conversation these days, even when you travel in bus or metro, or if you are sitting in a restaurant or in your own home, sitting in the living room, you will find if there are five people, all five are sitting on their own mobiles.
Yeah.
While we are connected to the outside world, we have no conversation with the people around us. So, how to strike a conversation even with a stranger? It is easier for us if we are doing an email chat, but it is very difficult for this generation to strike a conversation with a stranger face
Correct.
to face.
Correct. 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 Very
How
correct.
to wish? How to wish? Even that is not known to them.
Yeah.
You don't have hi bro to everyone. To whom you say namaste, to whom you say namaskar,
Yeah.
to whom you
Exactly.
say good evening, to whom you say hello, and to whom you say hi. These are the skill sets, the basic conversation skill sets. See, before we move on in our lives, the conversation is a very big learning that we have to take on with our lives.
Yeah.
Because that it is not what you say, it's a difference. It is how you say.
Yeah.
So this generation, which is spending the the first minute of their waking up in front of mobile till this, sleep. They
Hmm.
cannot sleep till they have checked their texts. And sometimes रात को भी अगर ping होता है तो there are many who get into so much of anxiety they get up and check that post. So the generation that is spending so much time in front of screen has to learn the skill sets that will make them ready for the future. Yeah, over to you, Shilpi.
So, like, as we are getting deeper into this discussion, I would like you to even let them know what is actually how to protect their identity on social media, and the kind of comments that they feel they are free to post. Sometimes can lead them into trouble. They can be in deep soup because of that.
Yes,
So, there is a term. I would like you to use that term and explain to them what is actually it is. And like sometimes they even make jokes and pass comments. What is called cyberbullying, in the technical terms. So I would
yes,
like you to highlight that and let them know how serious a crime it is. Not just children and students who are watching, but everybody.
yes. See, a very, very huge cause for the depression, the anxiety, the troubled state of mind these days comes from this cyberbullying.
Yes.
If you are spending so many hours in front of the screen, and what screen is generating to you is negative,
Yeah.
then it is going to make indelible impressions into the minds of the youth.
Yes.
We have to understand how it makes us feel good. Only then we can understand how it makes us feel bad, right? So when we post something, for example, I have put a post or a photograph. It has gotten me a lot of likes. It has generated a lot of, you know, heart emojis and thumbs up emojis, and people have given a lot of positive comments. It generates dopamine in my mind, you know, in my that is the actual chemical that is released in our minds, and that is called dopamine. It is a feel good hormone. The feel good hormone has the same effect as if you are addicted to drugs or addicted to cigarette or
Hmm.
addicted to alcohol. So the kind of gratification it gives to our mind, the dopamine, the same kind of effect we get is when we get lots and lots of likes. So we get addicted to that feel good factor, the happiness that it gives us. And only for that, we start getting hooked to the screen time. Now,
Yes.
when that happiness quotient is taken away from us, suppose you put a post out there and people ignore you. How would you feel? It
Very
would
bad.
feel all of a sudden you are denied something.
Yeah.
So, this is a form of cyberbullying when many when many people gang up against one not to reply to his or her mail. So the person feels ignored, the person feels lonely, the person feels anxious. That is one example of cyberbullying. Now, if you feel that there is a term which is very common these days, trolling, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Troll.
Yes.
So if a person puts a post out there and there are many posts either making fun of that person or making joke or criticizing or body shaming,
Yes.
this is a classic example of cyberbullying. When you let down a person, sending angry messages, sending hate messages, sometimes cyber stalking. You know how it is?
Yes.
Intimidation, threat.
Intimidation. Yeah.
And sometimes a new term has come up that is masquerading. When you pretend to be someone else,
Hmm. Hmm.
hack a person's account and masquerade as that person.
Yes.
Now, cyberbullying is taking new and new vistas every day. Cyberbullying is taking us to a state where this generation, especially, is inundated with various stages of depression, anxiety. It is taking form of loneliness, sadness, so much so that many times students commit suicide.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have
Yes.
examples. Now, in addition to cyberbullying, there are various kinds of games that are coming up. Very recent example was Blue Whale, where
Yeah.
many students getting under impression of different kind of instructions that were being given to them. Jump from the building, do this, do that, slit your wrists, or you will be facing such and such consequences. What is that? A kind of cyberbullying, where the child had been, that child was driven against the wall and had no way out. At least the child thought that he or she has no way out but to take one's own life. So cyberbullying gives us a concept also which is called social depression. Facebook depression also we call it. You know, where there is excessive judging on your posts, on your photographs. It gives us a degree of mental stress that we are sometimes always trying to up our game. How better can we be? Better. And then comes the term that you used in your very first question, identity crisis. So, in order to please others and to build a kind of larger than life persona, which, mind you, only has a digital life, it does not exist physically, but a kind of one-upmanship to be better than anybody else. We try to get a kind of image that after a point of time we ourselves find difficult to keep up to, and that gives us stress. So these days psychologists have got their hands full dealing with cyberbullying, dealing with cyber crimes, telling students how to come out of it. And Shilpi, today from your forum, I would like to share it with all the students out there that there is nothing that cannot be addressed. Never feel you are alone. Never feel that you are driven against the wall. Never feel that you have reached a stage where no one can help you. No, help is there, help is available. You should know when to ask for help. So, the more you ask for help, you will realize that there are multiple people all around you who will be there to help.
So, I was about to come to this point that these days, very commonly, I hear, "Oh, I'm alone. Oh, I'm lonely. I
Yes.
don't have friends." But I feel that being alone is not a mark of depression. It's if you are alone, I think sometimes it's good to be alone because there's so many things that you can do, and there's so much about yourself that you can improve upon. So I would like you to address these youngsters that being alone and being lonely are two different things. Being alone doesn't mean you are lonely. Being alone, you
Lonely.
can be along with your books, along with your painting and gardening. I do not see children gardening. I do not see children bicycling these days so many times. They have to be actually forced for it. I mean, and they are like, they look upon the friend list. How many friends do they have there? And yes, coming to that, how many likes and dislikes. I sometimes find my, one of my relatives, nephew, he actually plans a weekend to put up the post because he has observed. He says, "This is my research that on a weekend, if you post something, you get lots of attention."
Huh,
So I said, "What a good research." So he said,
what a
"Whenever
good
he told me, he said, auntie, whenever you have to do something, you have to put up your party pics and all. Do it on a weekend." And the time is around Saturday, say evening, when Saturday morning and Sunday morning, Saturday evening and Sunday morning, when people are available, and they are mostly on social net. I said, you've done this research? He said, "Yes, I know it." And he gives me the data also. That, see, I put it up on Monday, I did not get so many, and this is
Hmm.
on Friday night, and this is on Saturday evening. So this is how. So I would like you to define to them that being alone is not a mark of depression. This word depression is sometimes misused. "Oh, I'm depressed. I'm just because I'm alone, I'm depressed." No, it's not. So please elaborate on it.
I would like to give you a very interesting example here. When I speak to students, I generally, share this with them. You picture that there is an ocean, right? एक समुद्र है.
Mm.
Now, a person comes to the beach, sits on the beach, and watches sunset. Yeah, so quite
Yeah.
interesting. Person sees the sunset and feels very happy. Clicks photographs, goes back. Now, there is another set of people who come to the beach. They do lot of fun and frolic. समुद्र के अंदर जा रहे हैं, एक दूसरे के ऊपर पानी उछाल रहे हैं, खूब हंस रहे हैं, and they have a jolly good time and they go back home. Now, third, there's a group of fishermen who go into the ocean. They do their, livelihood. They collect, they catch a lot of fishes and they come back. They sell that fish and earn their livelihood. Fourth, there is a diver who dives into that deep ocean, goes to great depths, probably gets a pearl and comes out. So what we have seen here, that there are four kind of people, right? These four kind of people have totally enjoyed what that ocean had to offer. And everyone has gotten exactly what they wanted out of that experience. The one
Yeah.
who was sitting on the beach side enjoyed a wonderful sunset. The kids who enjoyed the water, they had a great time and laughter. The fisherman got the fish and the diver got the pearl. Everyone got what they wanted. Now the point is, when we are approaching social media, what we want out of it, we will get exactly that. Now, the student or the youth, if you just want to contribute to a cause, suppose there is a community that is developed, suppose you want to help someone, or there is a charitable, if you have seen, uh, wait, let me give you an example. Few days back, a Facebook post had come regarding a Babaji who used to make roti sabji, puri sabji and sell. And because of COVID, his business had gone down.
Yeah.
Someone posted it on Facebook, and then the avalanche effect was there, and it multiplied to such an extent that people wanted to help this old man and started bombarding his dhaba with more and more of orders. This was a positive impact of social media. How people helped that old man, and I was reading it few days back that that old man has now opened his restaurant.
Wow.
So, what social media is giving us. If you just scroll in your Facebook, you will find many people who are approaching us with different kind of coaching programs, different
Mm.
kinds of businesses that you can open,
Yeah.
teaching you different kinds of skill sets, probably free or probably for a
Yes.
nominal. So it is up to us whether we make use of social media, and we are exposed to multiple things. Problem is, what we want, we ourselves are not clear. या तो हम सिर्फ गपशप मारने में टाइम निकालना चाहते हैं, ट्रोलिंग करना चाहते हैं, गॉसिप करना चाहते हैं, चुगली करना चाहते हैं, या हम एक्चुअली उसी टाइम को यूज करके, अगर हम 3 दिन 1-1 घंटे भी कोई क्लास करते हैं, so probably at the end of a weekend we will have something new to post about us, that this week I have upgraded myself and learned
Yes.
this new thing. Who knows that this snowball effect creates a positive impact in your own classroom, and everyone is driven to learn something new that they can post, as you said, in their weekend update on social media. bragging about how I learned French in 3 days, or
Yes,
how
yeah.
I learned to play guitar in a 4 days class, or how I learned to make some new DIY, how I have learned, a new dish, a new recipe. So there are so many things that we can do with this social media.
Yeah.
And what we do is up to us. The life of internet these days is driven with filters. Filters, filters, filters. And I'm not talking about only filters of photographs. I am talking about filters of how you want to be seen in social media,
Yes, yes,
how you
yes, yes.
want to be projected. So there are multiple filters to that. I should be at my best. My
Yeah,
surrounding should be at its best. चाहे आपने घर का सिर्फ एक कोना एक फोटो खींचने के लिए साफ कर लिया, लेकिन
yeah.
आपकी अलमारी में एक गंद मचा है, you know,
Hmm.
so you have not cleaned your room, you
Right.
have not helped your parents, you have not taken your dog out for a walk. But when you are sitting in front of the screen, you are portraying your life to be, you know, better than anyone else. So I
Yeah.
think you should focus on projecting what is your true self. Who am I? There is a term these days that is called IRL, in real life. What am
Yes.
I IRL? That should be what I am online, because you cannot keep a charade for a long while. You cannot keep yourself fake for a long while. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, you would like to end this game of charade. आपको आप थक जाओगे इस झूठ मूठ की दुनिया से. And so, to everyone out there, my sincere request, enjoy what you are, because you are unique. Every one of us is unique. Each one of us has some X factor. Build on that X factor.
Yes,
Find
indeed. Indeed.
us, because social media and internet has something exclusive to offer to everyone. So
That's
learn to use that screen time to upgrade yourself, to modify, to give yourself that polish. And that at the end of this student life, when you go out and follow your long term goals, see, what you create digitally is always going to stay there. Your potential employers will go back to your profiles and see
yeah.
whether you are positive, whether you are negative, and that will stay with you.
Yes, yes.
So
That's
use this time to grow, not to hide behind a false front, behind a camouflage. Yeah, Shilpi.
Yeah, and yeah, would like to add to it that I myself, when this lockdown was there, I did so many courses online, which I was like
See?
hankering from so many years, and overseas, abroad, which like I would not be able to like go. I mean, in my span of life, I wouldn't be able to cover. Maybe I would have gone to one university, but I was able to do
Huh.
from two universities abroad, short courses. And I was so happy that after a gap of 10 years, I was back to studies, or I had actually put
Wonderful.
in some kind of effort. So, yes, this is what I would, and I would like you to, I mean, just as we are coming to the end, I would like you to very seriously tell them that cyber crime is actually under the law. It can be punishable. And
Yes.
what is the punishment, and what is actually included in the cyber law?
Shilpi, when we are given a facility
Yeah,
and we do not use it responsibly, that brings into us the concept of doing something wrong.
exactly.
Now, these days, Gen Z, as we call them, They cannot visualize a life without internet. They
Yeah.
cannot visualize a life without projecting themselves like an avatar,
Hmm.
something that is there on the digital screen, which is far removed or much removed from what they are in real life. These days, the youth is also driven by showing off a lot of material possessions that they have. I have got a new phone. I've got,
Yes.
so the material possessions are actually giving a kind of an edge to the person who has them
Hmm.
and brings in anxiety and sadness into those who do not have it. Now, what do
Yes.
you do? You want to come up to that level where you also have that possession. But if
Hmm.
you do not have those kinds of economic means, what will you do? You will try to take a route that is this gives up the concept or exposes our kids into cyber. आसानी से पैसा कैसे मिले, आसानी से सामान कैसे मिले. So many of them, and mind you, it is very easy to go into net and learn how to hack someone's identity. It
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
easy to go into net and say how to hack someone's account.
Yes.
Crime is now, the training of crime also is very easy these days. So the internet is giving you a tool, that is a smartphone in your hand, and also giving you a know-how as to how to do it wrong.
Yeah.
Like I said, in cyberbullying, masquerading is a very big, thing that is happening, and that leads to blackmailing. You
Yes.
hack someone's account and you use that to fund your shopping.
Hmm.
Very easy. Happening these days. We keep getting lots of messages also on our phone these days. Someone asking us to give our account number or something.
Yes. Yes.
Are
Yes. Yes.
all little things that are examples of cybercrime happening very easily around us. Cybercrime leads to bullying, cybercrime or other extortion of money through harassment, through kidnapping, through account hacking, identity hacking, bank account hacking. And do you know that now there was a study conducted in Maharashtra which said that almost 80% of students between the age of 10 and 17, and mind you, this does not hold true only for Maharashtra, but for our entire country, that 80% of students between the age of 10 and 17 do not report that their accounts have been hacked, Facebook accounts have been hacked, their identities have been hacked. And the person who's doing this kind of crime is feeding onto this. उसे पता है लोग ये कंप्लेन नहीं करते और इसीलिए उनकी हिम्मत मजबूत होती जाती है. So I am just going to share a few things with the generation out there, this Gen Z, the millennials. Please know that you have to ask for help. If something wrong has been done, you are well within your rights to ask for help. Sometimes there are objectionable material in our own, Facebook accounts or in our own, browse history or something that we are afraid of. But get over that. Go beyond that. If someone is blackmailing you for something that you have done in your past,
Yeah.
you don't have to take it lying down. You have to ask for help. That is one. Now, in your own way, on a day to day basis, there are a few things you can do. Learn to spot spam, learn to spot the scams. Who is asking for your password? Why they are asking? Sometimes people are asking for financial help.
Mm.
Sometimes people are asking you to pose in certain types of photographs. Sometimes
Yeah.
people morph your photographs. You know,
Yes, yes, yes.
you have to be very careful. You have to be very aware. You do not have to take it lying down, because if you have not done anything wrong, you have to come up and stand up to that crime. And mind you, cyber laws in our country are very, very strong. But
Yes.
the paradox is that these days cyber crime is mostly being done by the teens who are very well crewed up with the technology. They understand how things work and they use it for the wrong purposes.
Mm.
Use strong passwords and keep changing them. Monitor your credit scores if you are using something, your accounts, if you are handling your money, you be very clear not to share your credit card details, your CVV. Monitor your credit scores. क्या कोई ऐसा बिल है जो आपने सामान खरीदा नहीं जिसका पेमेंट हुआ? So be aware. Website. Very important, extremely important. Stay alert.
Mm.
In
Yes.
bold italics. ALERT. Not in your youth, but in your old age. If you are alert, you will find that many things will take care of themselves before they cause you any damage. So, if there is a false information on your credit reports, including your, details like PAN card, please never share your PAN card details with anyone until unless it is authorized and official. If you are receiving calls or notices about some past due bills and you feel ये सामान
Mm.
तो मैंने खरीदा नहीं,
नहीं,
then
हाँ.
someone has hacked into your accounts. These days, uh, we feel very happy when we find अरे free Wi-Fi है, use करो. Let us download many things. Free Wi-Fi है.
Mm.
Gone to airport, अरे वाह free Wi-Fi है. Have you gone to a hotel? अरे वाह free Wi-Fi है. Please know that public Wi-Fi or free Wi-Fi is again inviting you to be open to many hackers. So please do not join into any unsecured network. Virtual private networks or VPNs are tools that can help you shield yourselves from prying eyes or public Wi-Fi network. Have good quality security solutions on your devices that you are using. Either it's your laptop or it's your desktop or it's your mobile. You should have your firewalls in place. And how these firewalls work? They guard against specialized malware, which is designed to steal personal information. Suppose you're using
Mm.
certain keystrokes every time. So the hackers can find out from those keystrokes as to what are your passwords. And they hack into that. Again, I'll come back to it. To fight the crime, you have to stand up against the crime. So do not hide the problem. Many times girls are blackmailed about certain
Mm.
photographs. Sometimes boys are blackmailed about
Yeah.
certain sites. Kindly do not give in to this kind of blackmailing. Kindly stand up to that. Ask for help. Know what to do when you become a victim. Stand up, ask for help, and you will get the help. But you have to stand up against that crime because cyber crime is all around us. We are open to it. We are going to face huge problems. A, if we are not alert, and B, if we do not stand up to it. Yeah, Shilpi.
So I think in a very short span of time, ma'am, you've been able to give a lot of information, and I believe all those who are listening, uh, they are not scared, but actually they have become more smarter in order to understand how it can be used for good. Like it is said, science is a good slave, but a bad master. So how
True.
we use it, it's up to us. So, just to let the audience know, Captain Yashika Hatwal is one of our leadership's keynote speakers. So, we are looking forward, ma'am, to your participating in our ed leadership and listening to you once more, mesmerized again with your speech.
Thank you.
And I would
Thank
like to
you.
end, looking at your career and looking at the mission that you are on. One of the poems by Robert Frost. I remember the last stanza of it, the stopping by the woods on a snowy evening. And the last stanza says that the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go
Miles to
before I
go
sleep,
before I sleep.
and miles to go
One of
before I
my
sleep.
favorites too. Thank you so much, Shilpi. Thank you
You're
so
welcome,
much.
ma'am.
I will say goodbye here and looking forward to be on the wonderful conference. Best of luck to you and your team. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome,
Jai
ma'am.
Hind.
Jai Hind, ma'am.